video had some problems with it, and it said, sorry, we're having trouble with this video. So you probably could have still seen me, maybe, and you probably still heard me, but I couldn't see myself. And so I didn't know how the transmission was going to translate out there. So I'm going to try again here. So yeah, the last couple days, man, I'll tell you what, when you're sitting in your healing process, okay, here I am 4 years on it. Okay, when you're sitting in your healing process, it's intense. Hormones are at the surface. You're living that reality of what was pushed down, suppressed, anesthetized through all different means in our society. And so when you actually do the J juice, you're going to face your evolution. And so yesterday, yeah, I was pretty intense yesterday because, yeah, somebody was mentioning an allopathic name for a symptom that really would not be a right characterization because they were using the allopathic terms, which has its own implication. And so yesterday I was very intense because I know what's in store for those that are not doing the J juice or doing the J juice at the or not doing the J juice at the level that they should. I know what's in store for them, and they know what's in store for them too. I mean, if you're not doing J juice or at the level that you should, you know that you're going to eventually be seeing the breakdown of your body, mind, and spirit. And the breakdown of your body, mind, and spirit can be a slow process, or it can be a gradual, slow process, or it can be a very fast, accelerated process relative to your predispositions. And with all the stress, with the elections, with the new viruses in the environment, with the new vaccines that are coming out, with all the different therapeutics, I'm scared for my friends and family. I really am. And some, I know they're just like, I'm scared for my husband too, because I know what he's gonna be facing. Okay, and it sucks because some of you are watching your teeth disintegrate, like falling out. Hey, John. Okay, I've seen that on my Facebook where someone said they broke their tooth off a piece of broccoli. How do you break your tooth off a piece of broccoli if it wasn't because of the fact that your body is disintegrating? And so your teeth are now so sensitive that even a piece of broccoli can break your tooth. And I don't think it's a raw broccoli, okay? But even then, your teeth should be able to withstand crunching into a raw piece of broccoli. So if it's a cooked broccoli, then what the heck? Okay? So, so I, yes, was very intense yesterday, but I know what it's like to be in your biochemistry when it's going through a fluctuation. And so going through my evolution, me being on this for 4 years, and me sitting on my couch feeling like I was so tired I couldn't even stay awake. That whole day, was it yesterday, the day before? I can't even, I lose track now because I've been dealing with these symptoms, and I know it's being influenced by the COVID because the COVID enhances or destroys your biochemistry relative to where you are on the spectrum of life and death. And so I've been dealing with these symptoms of this menopause type symptoms, not menopause, but menopause type symptoms for the last, since September and October. And finally yesterday, it's like I broke the fever, like after being so tired, okay, and I didn't want to get up and do really much of anything. I hardly even ate yesterday, right? I finally woke up, and that's when, somebody mentioned that was when I kind of went off the rails yesterday. And that's when I actually felt better, and I had a major sweat, like I broke a fever. It was the weirdest phenomenon. Because yes, I was feeling like about in the September, October, I was feeling major hot flashes, like major, where I would be turning the AC up and down. This is when, we've been transitioning from summer to fall where it's hot and cold, but right now it's actually pretty warm. But yeah, I've been noticing that I have, I can't sleep, one night, and I can really sleep the next day. So I know that my fluctuations of my biochemistry, my circadian rhythms are all kind of like in a flux, but I am seeing the other side of it now. I'm finally pushing through to the light, not because I'm dead, because you just got to sit with your healing symptoms, because really when you think about it, all symptoms is the body trying to survive and heal. And I guess relative to how you react to your symptoms would be whether or not that system in your body is going to evolve or devolve. And so, yeah, when you don't feel symptoms anymore and you're not doing the J juice, it means that, yes, that it could be one of two things. it's completely anesthetized, so you don't ever have to feel pain again unless something goes and triggers it, or your body had enough of what it took to repair the damage. But it's repairing the damage at a deficit. It's not 100%. Because, yeah, some of you had broken legs when you were kids or had sprains in your legs, and you're able to now walk and all that stuff, but you know that when you play sports on that same leg, it's a bit tender. It's not 100%. It's because you haven't given your body what it needs to really 100% heal that broken leg or that sprain. And so when you get older, this is when people who are athletes, when they get older, they start feeling everything that they dealt with as far as injuries in their younger years. And so that's why arthritis and all the different I don't know, nerve issues and muscle issues and bone issues start coming to surface as they get older, because their body is deteriorating. And so when you're on the J juice, you're going to have to deal with all the things that happened to you that you did intentionally or were accidents at some point. And it's going to be like your reality. It's going to be so much your reality that you have to remind yourself that this is not a reality in like indefinitely. It's just a temporary reality that you just have to sit with and be with. I sat with my whatever, and I wasn't even depressed, or I wasn't even like, like just yuck. I was just like tired. And I knew that, I didn't have motivation to even do any typing. I had no motivation to even think about anything. It was just like, I just needed to sit with the fatigue and go to sleep. Sometimes you just need to go to sleep. Sometimes you just need to rest. When you're that tired, you just need to rest, not go take a pick-me-up or go take something that's going to give you a caffeine, high. Because even nothing was going to revive me that day, yesterday or the day before. I drank, I think the day before I drank coffee and I still went to sleep. And then the next day, that was yesterday, is where I actually slept the whole day. And so sometimes you just have to do that because your body needs a rest. It needs to go through its evolution. So anyways. So yeah, last night I was listening to McCarthyism, or not McCarthyism, I was listening to the 1950s. If you go down my timeline, there's a few videos that I watched, and then there's like a compilation that has a bunch of them together. But, I'm actually referencing my book, The 1950s, and McCarthyism, not so much McCarthyism, but that might come up. I have to see if I can interweave that into the whole premise. But the 1950s was all about planned communities, selling the American dream. TV was like the main thing to promote a specific thought process, an ideology, a way to be. They back then, the scientists in the 1950s were looking, when they had the baby boom and they needed to figure out how to do education, they actually they looked to the Russian model for education. And so you've heard about, Charlotte Iserbyt, or Iserby or whatever her name is. She was one of the guests on Alex Jones, where they were using, they're using Russian model of education, which communism, to then implement into the American educational system. So there is definitely shades of Russian models of education within our educational system, and they were really focusing on math and science. They had to be competitive in the science world, physics, science, the nuclear age back in the 1950s, okay? Medicine, all that stuff. So there was a major rush for scientists back in the 1950s. So no wonder, there's so many baby boomers that are in the science industry, that are in the computer industry, engineering, a lot of engineering. They had kids, back in the 1950s, they had like several, what do you call it? I don't know, several groups of students that would actually alternate like every 2 hours. They had like 2 or 3 sets of students of like 30 that would be taught for like 2 hours, and then another group would come in. That was how much the educational system was being impacted. And so I haven't studied too much on how it actually rolled out altogether, but eventually it's turned into now where, you have university and you have your compulsory education, a lot of schools. They didn't have as many schools back then, but then they started to because of the baby boom. So the baby boom was the huge population, incline, the huge population boom. It was where, yes, they were now exploiting the minds of these new babies that were going to be now the future of building our infrastructure. And so, as above, so below, we're in year 2020. They have Facebook, they have Google, they have YouTube, they have, Twitter. They have all, we have all this infrastructure. We already have, the water systems and the grocery systems and the big agri and the big pharma and all these things. So, do we still need to have that kind of population boom? Do we still need to have as many people that we do have on this earth? And so, yes, so this is where you have to understand that they were selling a dream back then, and now they're like, hey, we're going to legalize drugs like marijuana and heroin and LSD in Oregon. So you have the freedom now. Now, before they're like, well, we want to help save you and get you off the drugs. Now they're saying, hey, here's full court press. Here, you just take all your drugs and do whatever. Destroy. You have the freedom to destroy yourself now. You want freedom? Well, here you go. This is your freedom. And then back then, McCarthyism also was being introduced into the government, and witch hunts for people who were supposedly communists. And then this is what translated into all the different wars like Vietnam, and then the whole CIA-induced Cuban Missile Crisis. And so you know that there's major psychological operations that happened way back in the 1950s that then turned into, like the Vietnam War, turned into this drug culture, turned into all these different psychological operations, the conflicts. All the different conflicts that you see are basically induced by psychological operations. And so now, okay, now we're still seeing residual effects of it, yes, because now we're like, oh yeah, the Democrats are all communists and the Republicans are all racist, and it's all the same shit, different day. And so now you realize that, yeah, you're just being psychologically opped. The TV, the radio, the movies, the books, all that stuff are modes of marketing. They back then, the TV, when it first came to its inception, they were using it to steer the housewives into buying all their different appliances. Okay, and so if just watch those movies from watch those videos that talk about the 1950s, and you'll see from this perspective how they've built a nation. And now you're going to see from this point of view today, 2020, the Daigle report, the depopulation agenda. Now it's time for the population decline. They've already utilized and exploited all the best minds out there. They had enough of them. 32 million babies were born during a certain period of time post World War II. And now we're in 2020, and now we have a virus that's ravaging people who don't know any better. And so it's not surprising that I came from a household that, my parents were born in the 1940s, and they were a product of the 1950s and 1960s. And then the 1970s, 80s was the research phase, and then the 80s was like then the implementation phase. How can we now put what we studied, all the accumulation of knowledge and experiments and different drugs, that they use for different specific things, psychology, psychotherapy, all the ologies, okay, are now being put into use to direct a population and to brainwash into certain false dichotomies: politics, religion, and science. And so the charismatics in the 1960s were the foundation of something like Joel Osteen, and all these, these different, Christian gurus that are out there pounding the pulpit, pounding the Bible, and you have all these different religions come from those eras, and call them the charismatics of the church, the charismatics of the spiritual gurus and the ascension artists, and all the people that are about love, 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 and hate, 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 and whatever, tantric this and tantric that. I mean, you're seeing now what came out of that era of then divide and conquer. But the foundation is division. And it still is pretty much obvious today. It's pretty much right there in your face. Division, division, division. Whether it's Trump or Biden, or anyone else that says, okay, we've got to fight the communists. Do you realize that, yes, communism has a certain amount of people that have passed away for whatever reason, and they were given indicators? If you do this, this is going to happen. The if-then equations, that's all like, Excel, science, formula stuff. If you do this, this is going to happen. If you go out into the streets and protest, you're going to be a target. If you, take this certain thing and you take this antibiotic, you take this protocol, whatever it is, and it's an antibiotic quality, this is going to happen. Okay? People you're being warned. Okay? It's the if then equations that are happening at this point. So, anyways, you just got to see that what's going on right now is that yes, we are in a depopulation agenda. We are being psychologically opt. The CIA and all the different agencies out there that are putting out a specific thought process does serve to divide and conquer. And yes, you are going to be given a choice. Okay? And if you don't understand the power of your choices and you think that it's just supposed to be, then what are you fighting for? What are you fighting for? If you think you're going to die anyways, then why are you fighting to live? I mean, communism happened because there's a certain population that there's so much imbalance that when you have so much imbalance, then it turns into conflict. If everyone was the same and they were all on the same page, you do your motions. You get up, you brush your teeth, you feed your dog, you drink your coffee, you get in your car, you go to work, you do your thing. You banter with your coworkers. Everyone's all peaceful. No one's like, oh my God, this and oh my God, that, or I'm dying here, or I have an issue here, or, my grandma died here. You're not having all this different conflict even when you go to work. So you're going to work, everything is pleasant. You come home, you make your dinner, you say hi to your whoever it is that you live with. You go to bed, you watch a few movies, and the movies are all relatively pleasant. There's no, I mean, if there was anything that was like full of like emotions, you would know how to separate that was from, the time prior to this new society. And you just, and there's no like there's nothing going up or down. You're just maintaining your existence. And maybe you're being creative. Maybe you go to work and then on your days off, you go and create like a beautiful painting. Where do you get that from? Maybe because you're able to travel to a different place and you like, this architecture, or you like the scenery, and you're in like, the desert, and you love the colors of the desert in the summer. So now you're going to go home and you're going to paint what you saw. I mean, it doesn't have to, artistry doesn't have to come from conflict and major hormones at the surface. I mean, you can probably have artistic ability and creativity come from a peaceful society. So maybe at some point, this is how the architects have figured out how to I don't know, do a reset and get rid of the imbalanced people. And so now you have a choice. Do you want to stay in the imbalances and look for a savior, look for an enemy and bully and go to war? Or do you want to just mind your own business, take care of your own body, mind, and spirit, realize that, yes, initially it was all a planned thing, I mean, yeah, America, 1776 wasn't that long ago. Okay, some of you are from Great Britain, but you know that if you look at movies back, like John, like I don't know what kind of documentaries they show, what was the culture like in the 1950s in the UK, but I mean when you look at the what was going on with us in America, the 1950s was a major turning point in how they directed our society. So 1776, that's 17, 18, 19, 300 years. That's like 6 generations, 300 years, 6 or 7 generations, they generate. Okay, right now we have 6 generations living at this point. All right, living simultaneously. But when you think about it, that's not many generations. So there's 2 generations per each 100 years, maybe 3, 6, 9, maybe 9 generations. That's not a lot. That's easy brainwashing. You know what I mean? You know how much propaganda you can infuse into your children to pass that along? And so now, we're coming into a new world where, yes, now they understand what keeps people balanced for the most part. They know how to create babies from a test tube, okay? And then it's just a matter of, hey, a human who's been patched up with implants, with different things that have been enhanced, if they can live out to be, 100 years old, hey, that's fine. If they can human farm and you live maybe at between 50 and 60 and 70 and 80, I mean, look at Ruth Bader Ginsburg. How the hell does she be able to live to be 90 or whatever how old she is? Why? Because she's been plied with so many um, different enhancements from biotech. So yeah, biotech can patch you up and you buy longevity, but what if you didn't have to use biotech to patch you up? What happens if you can do it on your own and you stay youthful and you stay, productive and you stay balanced and you stay peaceful? You don't need biotech to patch you up. Okay, so maybe that is the new world. You're going to have half the country or a third of the country, relatively healthy on the JJUS, and then 2/3 of the country is going to be patched up by biotech being our entertainment. That's how I see it, because I know many of you are not going to do JJUS. I mean, you already said, and you're having a billion kids. So you're going to pass on your ideology of that, oh yeah, you're going to die someday to your kids, and they're going to be patched up by biotech, with implants and different enhancements, and they're going to be on a string of, prescription drugs and whatever, and they'll be pigeonholed into a job, living their life out doing this specific job, or going off the rails because they have so many imbalances that even biotech can't help them. And of course, maybe there's issues in the family that the person is also exhibiting. And so, yeah, so there's going to be, segments of the population that are going to be the entertainment for those that are just like, dude, so that's like watching the news right now and watching everybody on Facebook just freaking freak out over this election. It's like, yeah, you're going to see segments of the population that are going to be the observers, because we already know that this is all contrived. This is all bullshit. Now it's just maintaining and minding your own business and taking care of your own body, mind, and spirit. Because no matter what, the agenda is going to roll out. And no, they're not trying to extinct humanity, okay? It's a depopulation agenda, and you will have the choice whether or not you're going to be depopulated or not. And so really, the thing about communism is not really as bad as people think. It's the fear they put into it to make you then, like they're drawing, like Trump and Biden are drawing out the people who are imbalanced. That's the only way I could say it. Trump and Biden are drawing out the imbalanced people who still want to take a side, who still want to fight for whatever, and they haven't even figured out their own biochemistry. So what the hell they're fighting for, I don't know. You're fighting for a fear of potential. Well, that impending doom is within you, knowing that your body is going to disintegrate because you're not taking care of it, and that's being projected outward, and that's being then exploited by those that are on TV, whether it's, CNN or Fox. And then, of course, yes, there is a whole script and a narrative that goes along with it, and yes, we have laws that are being contrived to go along with this, no different than, the Starship Enterprise and all of their mechanics and all of their blueprints of the whole Starship Enterprise. I mean, does this thing exist? It almost seems like it does exist. They have such detailed, illustrations on how that Enterprise, was created, configured. So it almost, you can't even tell between reality and fantasy. No different than the laws are being placed, the Electoral College, all that. That's all like looking at the Starship Enterprise going like, damn, that looks so real. Wow, it seems so real. But it's all contrived. You have the choice at any given moment to get yourself out of the war, to do the JJUS, deal with your own predispositions, get to a level of health to where you finally see this is all contrived. You're being manipulated. But it's much easier to fall into the blame game. So yeah, I know not everybody on my page that says they're doing JJUS is doing JJUS. I know that. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said the other day, don't look at what people say, look at what they do, and the time JJUS is about was it, I don't know. It will stand the test of time. Time is going to be your credibility. Too many people say, yeah, I love JJUS, I love JJUS, I love JJUS, but then they're not really doing it, and they're still stuck in the dichotomy, and they haven't really paid attention to them and theirs. And guess what? The environment overtakes their intentions, because their intentions were really not to take care of themselves. Their intentions would still stay in the war. Okay? And so, so that's why I'm preparing you guys that, yeah, there's going to be people that are on the JJUS that are not going to survive this environment because they've put too much in the war and not enough into themselves. And it'll be very evident. Okay? And so that's why I'm preparing all of you guys. There's going to be people on my Facebook in the group that will not survive this next phase. You got to be that much more strategic and that much more powerful in knowing where to put your energy. Because you only have so much that you can dole out. That's called thermodynamics. Wasted energy. Wasted energy. And if you're spending the energy that you're being given and you're not allowing your body to heal at the level that you should, then yeah, you're wasting your energy. You know, when I go to bed early at 5 o'clock at night, it's because I know I need the sleep. I don't need to, I mean, my husband's like, what the heck, you going to bed at 5? Because he gets home, you know, relatively early, not super early, but he gets up really, really early too. But I'm like, you know, honey, let me just get through this, you know, and get through this whole evolution I'm going through. Because once my book is done, and once this crap with my reproductive system is like done, I'm going to have so much freedom to give 100%. I'm only giving right now probably 90% of my energy to my family because I'm giving the 10% to you guys and to my own personal development. But at some point, once I'm done with this book and once, you know, I get through this healing process, my God, then I'll be able to be like hanging out with him, like, you know, and really just be in his world during, you know, the time that he has left as far as the bigger picture. But I have certain things that I must accomplish on my own, and I take the rest when I need it. I know I will not be good for him down the road if I'm still dealing with my issues. So a lot of it is a lot of what I'm doing right now, taking care of me and mine at this point right now, 100%, is more for preparation to make sure that I'm there for him when he needs me, because he's been there for me when I need him. And so the roles are going to reverse, and I know that. I'm prepared for the roles reversing down the road. Okay, and so you guys got to really look at what are you doing for yourself and for your kids and for your family to make sure that you are in excellent fettle, because you know the roles are going to reverse if you're with somebody that's not doing JJUS, or you know what's going to happen in the future for a lot of your friends and family. You know, you have to be strong enough to deal with the shit you know is coming down the line. And we're only in November 5th. Once we understand, once we know who the president's going to be, who the hell knows what's going to happen? You've got to be strong with yourself and not go out there and fight, not assume that it's going to be doom and gloom. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot of crap going on because we have so many imbalanced people. That's why this virus was released. We have a lot of imbalanced people that obviously somebody thought that this is their balancing force. You don't have to be a victim of the depopulation agenda if you understand thermodynamics. Don't waste your energy and redirect the energy back into you and convert it to make it work to your benefit, or else, yeah, you're going to end up like you already expect. So then why are you doing all these different protocols? Why are you doing your chemotherapy and cannabis? Why you do anything? You just expect to just do what you think is going to happen. Pass away. Because that's what you expect. Oh, but wait, I want to buy myself a few years. Like you have a few years. Like you even know. Oh, wait, yeah, but my grandfather, he did this operation and bought him 20 years. Yeah, back then when they weren't doing a major depopulation, but now it's pretty obvious. There's a depopulation agenda and it's accelerating. You think you have 20 years doing that, you know, whatever procedure? You might have 5, if that, if you can survive the next phase of all these different strains of viruses that are floating around, and the vaccines come out, and holy crap, you know, we're going to have another wave. It ain't going to get any easier as time goes on. It's going to get harder, and you're still wasting your energy on the stupid false dichotomy of the elections and whatever else. There is no savior out there. You are your savior. Redirect your energy and convert it to work to your benefit. Or else, what are you doing this for? Oh, to leave a legacy. Well, then why are you even doing JJUS? All right, I got to do my work, but you guys have a good day. And nice to see you, John. Bye.